Tonight's first period on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Papa John's. The day after the Flyers win and score 3 or more goals, get 50% off your online order using promo code FLYERS at papajohns.com. By Mazda. Mazda is KBB.com's lowest cost-to-own brand over 5 years. And by the $100,000 Sugar House Shootout. Register at PhiladelphiaFlyers.com/shootout.
Be presenting tonight's colors. Remain standing as you welcome to the ice the #1 ranked anthemist in the NHL, our very own Lauren Hart, as she sings the Star-Spangled Banner.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ready to go here in South Philadelphia, the Flyers and Capitals. First meeting of the season. Took a while for these two teams to meet. They'll play 3 other times. They'll play next Wednesday, in fact, in Washington.
Let's take a look at the Kia starting goaltenders for the Washington Capitals. No surprise, Braden Holtby back in net again, coming off the win last night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Steve Mason. The good news is he's back in net for the Flyers after having an MRI done yesterday after practice. Left a little bit early, but is A-OK and ready to go here against the Capitals.
Holtby played last night with these Capitals, a decisive win over the Maple Leafs. 23 consecutive games once the puck is dropped here tonight. Breaks Wayne Stevenson's record, former Flyer and former Capital. Steve Mason happy to be back between the pipes, certainly for the Flyers here this evening, as the Flyers try to make it back-to-back wins to start this stretch of home hockey where they'll play 10 of 13 games here at the Wells Fargo Center. We're underway. The Flyers in the home orange jerseys, road whites for the Capitals. Alexander Ovechkin putting Braden Coburn right off the face-off. Gets a hit as the puck pops out of play. There is Alexander Ovechkin having another very good offensive year, but it's really his play at the other end of the ice that seems to be getting a lot of the attention.
He's done a real nice job in blocking shots and buying into Barry Trotz's system. Plays with Nick Backstrom, who's a pretty heads-up center iceman at both ends of the ice, and Burkowski on the right side tonight. That's been kind of a rotating position for Barry Trotz, who has used multiple Capitals on the wing with Backstrom and Ovechkin.
There's Capital combinations at the top of your screen. It's similar to what the Flyers have gone through. Trying to find a line mate for Claude Giroux and Jake Voracek. As it takes a special kind of player to be that complimentary wing. Battle for the puck right in front of the Philadelphia bench. Umberger and Ovechkin. Umberger going back at the grade 8. They get the gloves right up in each other's faces, and now it's Reed sifting the puck into the Washington zone. John Couturier is after it there, poked free by Carl Alsner. Big forecheck is over after the puck. The centering pass goes off the skate. Burakovsky will get it as far as Voracek, who turns and the shot blocked aside to get it back and chip it into the corner. Eric Fehr will play it across ice. Fehr has been red hot. He was off a 3-point effort in Toronto last night. As the Capitals have lost in regulation just once in their last 15 games. They're about as hot as it gets in the NHL. Here's Voracek in and wide and fire wide all the way out to center ice. Grossman has to play it there. Cross ice to Mark Streit, and he'll wind it right back into the Capital zone. Brayden Schenn, who is latest to play with Voracek and Giroux, gets the puck to Jake. Voracek to the slot, and his shot rips wide. Didn't get a lot on it, and it missed the target, but Jake certainly getting some scoring chances early here. This puck up in the air. Voracek after it in the slot. He fanned on that shot attempt, though, and now 3-on-2 the other way. Carlson with a pass to Brooks Laich. Laich will wind and fire that one, nullified by the stick of Streit. Streit lost his stick in the process of blocking that shot, though, and the Capitals have the puck centering it. Netsov looking for it in the slot, broken up, and Voracek will clear the zone. It hit the linesman, bounces back in, and then offside whistle.
Eventful start to this one. The Flyers top line getting some offensive zone time, trying to find a way to the net with those pucks.
There are the scratches. One change for the Capitals from last night. Jack Hillen is out as a healthy scratch. Nate Schmidt is in. And the Flyers have Andrew McDonald sitting with Luke Schenn back into the line.
And R.J. Umberger, a little face wash with the glove to the face of Ovechkin there on the boards in front of the Flyers bench. You want to stay on Ovechkin at all times, and why not try to irritate him a little bit?
He likes to try to irritate the opponent. Might as well try to irritate him. There's Simmons with a shot that's blocked. Capitals come up with it, and they move it ahead. Brouwer, the hero of the Winter Classic, moves in across the Philadelphia line. Dumps that in along the board. Simmons is there. Across to Del Zotto, quickly ahead to Michael Raffl. Raffl's cross-ice pass is deflected away. And Nate Schmidt goes back to get to it. Behind Mike Green and ahead to Brouwer, who is checked by Del Zotto. Coburn first to the puck. Flipped it to the corner, but the Caps are all over that. And now they try to move it to the slot. Netsov is checked. Behind the net, Marcus Johansson has his stick broken on a slash. Flyers will be shorthanded. Michael Del Zotto will get the gate. One area of this game the Flyers want to avoid is that Washington power play. It's pretty dynamic.
Yeah, Ovechkin quick to jump on the ice as soon as he saw the referee's hand come up, and the slash there breaks the stick of Johansson in half, and Del Zotto puts his head up in disgust and heads to the box, and the Flyers have a huge penalty kill here that will gravitate towards number 8 in white.
Face off to the left of Mason. It is Green. So they're immediately set up. It gives to Backstrom, who passed to the best of them in the NHL. And right there, Couturier the steal, and he'll clear it all the way down. That wasn't exactly on cue.
No.
There's Green starting back up. 4th ranked power play. The Flyers penalty kill is no longer at the very bottom of the NHL after a good night the other night against Ottawa. Here's Ovechkin, the blast, he scores! Wow! Alexander Ovechkin blasting that one home, his 21st goal of the year, his 9th on the power play. And the Capitals with the early lead.
Can't underestimate how difficult it is to shoot the puck like Ovechkin just did. He does it often, but he's quite a ways out, blasted from the top of the circle, short side, high and above the glove of Mason, who knows it's coming, but can't catch it. It's all about the quickness, and you can tell he's pumped up as he fires that one. It's not on the stick for more than a split second, and it's in the back of the net.
5-game goal streak. He's had a lot to do with that fine record for the Capitals over the last month. And Alexander Ovechkin, at 21 goals, everyone talking about how his offensive production is down. They're not quite to the halfway point of their season yet, the Capitals. He's almost getting back to a pace of 50 goals again. It's a little shy of that. Here's Grossman with a shot that's blocked. Knocked down and played by Brooks Orpik. Gets to Carlson. Quick pass ahead to Jay Beagle. Beagle to Jason Chimera, the veteran. They'll chip it ahead for Beagle. He tried to center. It's blocked. Streit had his stick tied up. Couldn't play the puck. Wilson will get to it. Early winger gets it back down low for Beagle. And now the puck pops free. The Flyers have it. And they'll look to go to the attack. Belmar moving through center ice and moving well. And off the Mandibelli across for Delzato. The shot! Save! Holtby as Belmar was looking for the redirect. Now Mandibelli trying to get to it behind the net, but it's Alsner instead ahead to Wilson. And he'll play it ahead to Brooks Lake, the longtime Capital, chipping into the Philadelphia zone. Luke Shen is poke check. Eric Fair will get to it. Fair holding on. Coached by LeCavalier, who knocks him down. No Fair though, big winger. The Capitals for the most part are all big. They average almost 209 pounds a man, the largest team by far in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they don't mind crashing the net either. So Steve Mason can expect to be busy in this game. The Flyers want to make sure they do a nice job of getting pucks out of their zone like they do in this case.
There's Lawton moving through center to Schultz. Angles one off the side of the net. Hope he tried to gather the puck and hold it in to get the face up. And then we get some pushing and shoving after the whistle. Waffle involved. And quickly his teammates come to his aid. Wayne Simmons is in the middle of it as well. Let's go inside the glass for the first time tonight. Welcome Chris Therien to the broadcast.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. You know, I think when you looked at the last Washington Capitals power play, you looked at really one of the great pure passers in the National Hockey League, and that is Nicholas Backstrom. This guy can do an awful lot, guys. A lot of people feel he's the engine of the Capitals, the guy that moves the puck, the guy that makes Ovechkin tick. You can see how many assists he's had over the last 3 years. The guy's also productive goal-scoring-wise, but he's a very creative player. He's terrific around the net. Great passer on the power play, and again, you can see the one-timers that he got back. He didn't make that pass to Ovechkin, but boy, they've sure created a chemistry together, and one of the better duos in the league.
Talking to Barry Trotz before the game, he said he's not sure why he's not mentioned in the likes of Bergeron and Taves. Well, he plays in the defensive zone, and how much he produces offensively. There's no question he deserves to at least be a mention with those guys.
Yep. Even when they were rough time defensively last year, Jones, he was still one of the guys that was very good defensively for this Capital team.
Earlier this year, he hit 500 points in his NHL career. In his 501st game, only 5 active players have gotten to 500 points faster. And as you guys mentioned, he did that all while being a very good two-way player. So yeah, he's a heck of a player. Simmons moves up here. His shot is blocked. Goes to the corner. Alsner is there, and he'll send it up the wall. And Grossman will have to play it in the neutral zone. Fling it right back in. Only 3 shots thus far. 2 for the Flyers and 1 for the Capitals. The one for Washington was a doozy, though. The blast by Ovechkin, which wound up in the net. He's getting the puck back. Couturier. Now Coburn will move it ahead. And pass through center, off the mark for Reed. Green sends it back to the neutral zone. Coburn has it. To Umberger, and he'll sweep it into the Washington zone. Go after it. It bounces high in the air, but back behind the net. The Capitals are able to locate it. Burakovsky is checked, but got that puck ahead to Ovechkin. Alexander Ovechkin swinging wide to the right wing. Centers to Backstrom. Backstrom set it in front. It's one-handed in on goal by Green, and the save made by Mason. And he'll squeeze it. We'll be back. Well, you look at the standings. The season for the Flyers hitting its midpoint after tonight's game. And you can see the Flyers have a lot of work to do. The Washington Capitals and Rangers and Blue Jackets have all been surging. And Barry Trotz, the new head coach of the Capitals, has to like the way his team is playing for the most part right now.
Likes it and wants them to keep pushing, because if you look at the standings, if they take another break like they did in the early part of the season, all of a sudden everybody's there again. So there's no question that Barry Trotz is happy with his club's play of late, but wants to continue to build on that and keep things rolling.
Longtime coach, of course, of the Nashville Predators. Longest ever tenure for an expansion head coach. Left after last year. He's found himself in a good spot in an organization that he's familiar with, although it was a long time ago. He was a coach in the minor leagues for the Capitals and an assistant coach with a big club. As head coach in the minor leagues, he had the pleasure of coaching the guy sitting to my right.
Yeah, he had long hair back then.
It was a while ago.
Balding and gray. He's giving it to him before the game. Outstanding job by Barry Trotz.
Delzato's shot save. Holtby. It might have been redirected on its way in. And now the puck to Blake, who centers to Fair. I'll have to ask him.
Oh, he'll tell you.
Yeah? What will he tell me?
Well, we had a good relationship with him. I didn't play for him for long.
Not very long. No, was
lucky enough to
13
produce.
games total,
yeah.
or something like that. But that's probably enough to get an idea of what Keith Jones is all about as a player.
Yes, he actually made me an alternate captain right away out of college, and then that was the only time I ever wore an A in my career. So he wasn't a great judge of talent, I can tell you that.
Offside to call it the Philadelphia line.
Michael Del Zotto showing some talent, though, in the last one against the Ottawa Senators. Tuesday night, he did a terrific job in jumping in and creating offensive opportunities from the back end. Got pucks through to the net for rebound chances. Tonight, had an early penalty, but his next shift, he jumps up again, adds to the offense. Jumps in, gets another shot attempt from the point with traffic to the net, and continues to be a busy guy for Craig Berube, who is looking for some punch from the back end, and Del Zotto's provided it, talking to his partner tonight, Luke Schenn, who's back in the line.
8 defensemen, 8 healthy defensemen right now for the Flyers, so there's competition for those spots. And Andrew McDonald ends up on the outside looking in tonight. Del Zotto stays in the lineup after being the odd man out not so long ago, but he's earned staying in the lineup. So Luke Schenn replaces McDonald, not Del Zotto, as Coburn will go right wing to Voracek. Get across the line. Cutting to the middle. His pass for Giroux. Giroux could not get his stick on it. Braden Schenn is checked along the boards. Voracek gets in there to keep the puck alive. Backs the knockdown. Barreled into by Schenn. Let the Capitals get the puck. Burakovsky, impressive youngster. 19 years of age. And Ovechkin for the shot and the save by Mason. Some guys take that shot, no big deal. When it's Ovechkin, it's dangerous.
And then he looks for it also for the rebound attempt before he heads off the ice.
Brouwer now up the right wing for Washington. Takes a look around. Behind the net goes to strike. Johansson pestering him. The puck, Rita Kuznetsov, his shot blocked, and it goes out to the neutral zone. Right back in it goes. Matt Niskanen over from Pittsburgh, along with Brooks Orpik during the offseason as they restructured the defense here in Washington. Will wind that one into the Capital zone. Lawton behind the net. Check. Simmons thrown into the power by Alsner, and Alsner ends up with the puck. Redirected out to the neutral zone. Lozado has it back. Right back to Simmons. Tips it nicely to Lawton. Lawton in front for Raffle. Backhander. Save. Hoping rebound is tipped back toward the blue line. Got to by Luke Schenn. Or Simmons. Simmons in the middle. Lawton backhander, and it was denied. Spin move there. Now Luke Schenn back behind the net for Raffle. Wrapped up by Alsner. In fact, Beagle there as well. Lawton comes in, but the puck pops free to Niskanen. And he'll move it out. Johnson up there. Fired by Luke Schenn. Might have gotten Barry Trotz with his stick there as the players came together right in front of the Washington bench.
Barry Trotz rubbing his forehead there, checking for blood, and Luke Schenn very aggressive right in front of the Capitals bench. Done a nice job here in the early going.
Nate Schmidt. That puck into the corner. Chimera wrapping up Umberger. Stick comes free as Beagle has lost his stick. Here's Umberger with the puck. Umberger with a shot and is blocked in front. Green finds the puck. Couturier tried to take it away, and the Flyers do get it back. Reed centering goes all the way through. Back out to Schultz for a shot. Blocked. Rebound. They score! Bounce free to Sean Couturier, and he buries it. The game is tied at 1. So the Flyers add insult to injury. Barry Trotz. Couturier scores for a case of Tasty Cakes to tie the game.
All about offensive zone pressure, getting pucks to the net from the point and battling for the loose ones. And that's Couturier that finds that one and quickly buries it after Schultz gets it towards the net with Reed in front.
A little bit lucky, of course, too, going off escape, but that's what you want. You work hard offensively, you get the bounces. And Trotz got hit right before this, too. You can see with the towel on his head, he's cut. But the Flyers did a great job. The shift before it with Lawton, kept the puck in. They changed, got the puck back in. Couturier's line came out, and they scored a goal. That's a great sequence for the Flyers.
Low Ward to the puck for Washington. They fire it back through it. Bounces out to Orpik. His shot is blocked. And now it's fair to Light. Lozado rides him in. Belmar there with the support, trying to come away with that puck. Maneuvers it along the wall, and Ale Cavalier will move it ahead. There's Van de Velde. Going laterally along the line, and then dishing to Del Zotto, who centers, and it's knocked aside by Holtby. Couturier's 10th is the 5th Flyer to reach 10 goals. The Capitals have 6 to lead the NHL. Double-figure scores. The Flyers have 5 with 10, and Braden Schenn sitting at 9 goals. Umberger is in on the forecheck. It's knocked down, but the puck to Couturier. Couturier looking, Setters, Reed, poke check. Schultz takes another shot. That one deflects to Couturier. Couturier all the way out to the line with it, then turning it off the stick of Reed into the court. Feather it through to Umberger. Umberger on the backhand. To the point, Schultz fans on that. It drifts to the slot, then bounces back out to Schultz. Played in along the boards. Umberger to Reed. Reed, angle shot save. Rebound Couturier, and it deflects wide of the net. Again, this line with pressure. Here's Couturier. Forced out to the quarter by Alzner. Gets to Reed. Reed rolls it in along the boards, hoping for Umberger. Carlson disrupted him and knocked his stick away from him. Reed trying to get the puck. Now Schultz in from the blue line. Pressures Burakovsky, but it's Carlson who winds up with the puck. Another good shift from the Couturier line, though. They spent most of it in the offensive zone.
And that's with Ovechkin on the ice. So outstanding job by the Couturier line. Some good support in the offensive zone. Matt Reed providing a lot of it.
Drew gets the puck to Voracek. His pass tipped. Grossman had gone in, and now the Capitals look trying to take advantage as they move back with the puck. But as Kuznetsov penetrated the zone, the whistle blows on an offside. 1-1 here in the first.
Welcome back to Philadelphia. Time to take a look at our power back rehabilitation comeback goal. John Couturier, great offensive shift by the Flyers. Couturier at the side of the net, caroms off a capital skate. I believe Mike Green onto the stick of Couturier. He zips one by Braden Holtby. That's the power back rehabilitation comeback goal.
And here's the stick to the head of Barry Trotz, the head coach of the Washington Capitals. Johansson cut him. Smitty comes over there, the athletic trainer, and stitches up Barry Trotz. Before he could get the stitches on, the Flyers tied the game at 1-1.
He's a hockey coach.
He is that.
He's not going to go back to the locker room for repairs.
Nope.
Here's Braden Shen in across the line. A shot. Save, hopefully rebound right out in front. Giroux could not get to it. Now Grossman backs up with it and rolls around for Shen. Braden Shen spinning away from the check. Centers it. Voracek a jab at it. Now he's got control. Voracek to Streit. Streit once again among the top 10 in points for defensemen in the NHL. Giroux all the way across. Covered there was Voracek. Streit is in deep. Maneuvers with the puck. Looking across ice now, will drop it back down low. Voracek to Giroux. The shot, and that I think hit Shen and bounced wide. More offensive zone time for the Flyers, but now Ward will move up. Play it into the Philadelphia end. 7:20 remaining in this first period. Matt Niskanen back. And he'll play it ahead. Now Alzner. Back to Niskanen. Signed a huge contract, almost $6 billion a year through the year 2021 in terms of the cap hit. Had a great year at the right time last year for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the contract here. Alzner's shot here is blocked by Del Zotto. Bounces out to Lawton. Scott Lawton perseveres through some checking and gets that puck deep. Washington ice and follows him with authority on Alzner. Alzner, though, comes away with the puck. Steady defenseman. Takes another hit. That one from Simmons. Troy Brouwer will flank it off glass, and it lands at the Philadelphia line, but Del Zotto is there to pick it up. He'll send it up the wall out to the neutral zone, just out of the reach of Lawton. Played back through center. Fires it outshot. The Caps 8-3 here in the first period. That's pretty symbolic of the territorial play in this game.
No question about it. The Flyers are doing a good job of limiting the turnovers. Cough that one up there, though, and that can be trouble, especially when Ovechkin's on the ice.
Burakovsky will get this puck back to Green. Cross ice. Nate Schmidt firing one wide on purpose. Gets Burakovsky trying to pivot out in front. Del Zotto stays with him. Now it's Ovechkin. His pass across intercepted by Couturier, who chips. The Flyers will move up. Vandevelde lobbing one deep into the Washington zone. Schmidt will get to Green. Flyers are really doing a good job of finishing checks here in the first period. If they get a chance, they are hitting the Caps. That moves in. That shot saved. Mason rebound right out in front. Reed is there to Couturier. Ahead for Lecavalier. Trying to catch up to it. He actually swats the puck all the way down from his side of the red line, and so icing is called.
Well, watching tonight's game with your smartphone or tablet in hand, buy tickets to see the Flyers square off against their fiercest rivals this winter with the Flyers mobile app, available in the Apple Store or in the Google Play Store. Great way to order up your seats.
Here's our Jeep trivia question for tonight. That guy has it right there. We're going to wait for him to text it to us.
Well, he's ordering tickets first, and then he's going
to text us the question.
Yeah.
And we'll get it to you at our next opportunity.
You can do a lot of things. That out.
You can do anything right now. with your phone, right?
Yep, you can.
Run your life with it. There's a little chip pass into the slot. The Flyers intercept. Reed trying to spring Lecavalier. But Niskanen back, and Lecavalier bowls him over. Wilson bounced this one in. Mason corrals it. Sets it up for Coburn, who reverses. There's Claude Giroux. An aerial outlet for Schenn. It's behind him and goes all the way down, and they are going to call this icing. All right. He has texted. We have received, and here is the Jeep trivia question for tonight. He couldn't have come up with a better one than that.
Is there a D?
Who is Alex Ovechkin's? Who is he chasing? He hasn't quite got there.
Is there a D on there?
Yeah.
Not Jonesy?
Keith Jones is D. Well, maybe he's
I'm
F.
actually E.
Some would say F.
My most common grade at school.
There you go. For excellent. E for excellent.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So we'll give you the answer later on. It's getting to the point now where Ovechkin, who's only in his 10th year, but he's just about at the top of all the lists, but he's still chasing a couple different people for one assist and the other goals. But he has absolutely dominated the goals category in the NHL since coming into the league a decade ago. Voracek, a shot that goes wide. Orpik up the wall, and that's tipped out to the neutral zone. Looks like he's checked, but it bounces to Fair, who gets it to Joel Ward. Back to Light. And the battle injuries again this year, shoulder injury. Kept it out of the lineup early on. Flyers had the puck. Voracek cutting to the middle. Surrounded by white jerseys. Goes off to Giroux. Giroux lays it back down low. Green is there, and here comes Braden Schenn with a hit on him. Now Grossman pitches, but they get the puck past the 3-on-2 with the Capitals. Kuznetsov with the puck. Kuznetsov poke check beautifully there. Good job by Luke Schenn, and the Flyers now in transition the other way. Here's Raffl. And his shot snared by Holtby, and he'll hang on. 4 minutes even remaining here in period number 1.
Welcome back. Taking a look at Mike Green right there, and he is tonight's Chevy player profile. Offensive defenseman, to say the least, guys. He's been here in Washington quite some time now. And you can see those great numbers he had a few years back, 6 years ago. Great numbers for his former first-round pick of the Capitals. And he's having himself another good year offensively this year. And you know what? Not been as bad in his zone. Always been prone to giving up and making mistakes in his zone. He's not been that guy this year. He's kind of controlled himself a little bit more and bought into Barry Trotz's new system. It's Mike Green, our Chevy player profile.
So dynamic during that one season. We saw those numbers, and he had 2 70-point seasons. And there are those who say he was Erik Karlsson before Erik Karlsson arrived. And had a good look at him as a member of the Ottawa Senators. Here's Johansson moving up for a shot. Mason makes a nice save there off the rush. Kuznetsov to the puck. Turns it side of the net, and another shot. Mason stopped Johansson again. Johansson had 2 goals last night, as well as Fair. Just 2 goals shy of a career high for a season. 12 already, and stopped there twice in rapid succession by Mason. And play stopped as the Caps tried to get the puck back into the zone. We'll tell you about Philly Sports Talk tomorrow. Michael Barkan talking up the Flyers and Sixers as they look to step up their games in 2015. Watch Philly Sports Talk presented by Comcast Business tomorrow night at 5 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Pretty good pace here for the Flyers in this first period after getting down early on the Ovechkin power play goal. They've spent the majority of the period in the Capital zone. Did a good job of directing pucks towards the net, and some good puck battles that have led to Flyer offensive opportunities.
Nick Schultz checked here. Caps get to it. Burakovsky will stop. Flyers surging to the puck there to prevent the turnover from being harmful. Burakovsky in the corner. Checked again. That was Couturier who poked it away. Umberger moves it ahead to Reed. He's bumped by Schmidt, but carrying on is Coburn. Coburn, a shot that deflects off the stick and out of play.
Mike Green with that block shot there. Plan your attacks for the second half of the season with a 3-game mini plan starting at just $200. Why not jump on board tonight to snag tickets to Saturday's matinee with Boston and pick 2 other upcoming games while you're at it. Should be a good one against the Bruins, who picked up a big win last night in Pittsburgh on a controversial.
It was a good goal, Jonesy, I think. Off the glove of Simone Dupre. Did you think it hit the stick of Bergeron?
Did they give it to Bergeron or did they give it to the defenseman?
No, give it to Lucic, who shot it from out there.
Ah, very good.
Lucic needs to confidence.
It's funny that they did, because the announcement for the referee was that after review, the puck was high stick below the crossbar.
Yeah, and I thought it was off the glove of the Penguin defenseman. Nonetheless, you're right, controversial to say the least. A strange goal, but you're right, Boston had been called out by their owner, and in the worst possible way, and they'll be in here visiting Saturday.
Indeed. Flyers and Bruins for a matinee. Brooks Orpik doesn't like playing here too much. Not a building you want to bring your kids to, he said. Learn some new language, especially the way the benches are set up, kind of open to the crowd. I'm not really sure what he meant there.
Sure what that
I guess
means.
open maybe on the side where they go off to the locker rooms. But Brooks Orpik, as a member of the Penguins and part of the Battle of Pennsylvania, certainly saw some intense moments here. There's a shot right off the draw that rips high up over the Washington cage from Brayden Schenn. Schenn gets to the puck now and finds Voracek. Wheeling out in front, Voracek turns and fires, and it's blocked by Karlsson. Karlsson, another player thriving in Barry Trotz's system, having an outstanding year. Moves the puck in across the Philadelphia line, but pops it off to no one in particular. Giroux might have called for that. Moves in across the line. Giroux off of the right wing. Voracek got it into the slot, batted at by Schenn, but it drifted behind the net. Brayden Schenn, checked by Orpik, and now it's Beagle. Already 15 blocked shots in this game. Both teams sacrificing here early. Back is strike, 1:45 remaining in this first period. Grossman takes a hit from Wilson and he's hurt. One of the heaviest hitters in the NHL, Tom Wilson. Remember the hit he gave Brayden Schenn last year here at the Wells Fargo Center? Well, Nick Grossman went into the boards. It looked like shoulder first, and he's having trouble getting back up. He's in some discomfort as the Flyers go and have a word or two for Wilson.
And the Capitals look like they, down here, Jimmy, are talking to the ref about how the Flyers throwing the puck up over the glass without it being touched. So they're lobbying for a penalty, and Grossman is in a lot of duress right now for sure. He's up on his own will and going off, so hopefully he's able to shake that off, but that didn't look good.
Nick Grossman, helped by Jim McCrossan, and obviously favoring that right shoulder.
And there's Grossman moving the puck on the backhand and taking that full contact right there. Wilson throws a good clean check, and unfortunately for Grossman, he's in a vulnerable position there from the side. And the puck did look like it went up and over the glass directly, but not sure if there was any call made or not.
Yeah, you can see about three Capitals right after, not knowing about the Grossman injury. They all pointed to the linesman and the ref saying, hey, they tossed it up into the stands. Did they get somebody here?
Wilson certainly thinks they should have.
Well, I'm not. I think they might have. They did. Wayne Simmons is
Wayne
going.
Simmons will head over. I don't think anybody saw that right away. It was. I think the Capitals pointed it out.
Number 8, minor penalty for delay game.
So Grossman injured and gets a penalty served by Simmons. And the Caps get their second power play. Fans don't like the call, but it wasn't touched on the way out. It's literally a penalty. And Ovechkin will have to go back to the neutral zone. This is a pretty big moment early in this game. Late first period, a good period for the Flyers. They love to avoid falling behind here. Facing this very dangerous Washington man advantage unit. Cleared all the way down again.
Sean Couturier again in good position. He's had an outstanding first period. Picked up the Flyers' only goal, and there helped kill off a few seconds on this PK.
Backstrom and across the line. Onside. We'll get it back out now to Green. To Ovechkin, who flubbed that one, but it goes in front to Brouwer, who gets it back out to Green. Now across to Backstrom. Backstrom to Green for the shot. Save Mason, rebound back in front. Brouwer stop. Now Ovechkin could not finish. Chance to clear here for Couturier, and he will. Mason slow getting back up. Mason is having trouble getting back up. The referee, Chris Lee, checking with him to make sure he's okay, and he nods that he is. Play continues. Green to Ovechkin. Ovechkin a shot. Save Mason. Rebound into the slot. Delzato chips it, but couldn't get it out of the zone, and now Green has it. 28 seconds in the period. Burakovsky down low. That's off back to Burakovsky, and now to the point. Green to Ovechkin for the shot. Mason slides across again. Ovechkin tries to go cross ice. That bounces off of Belmar and out of play. And it'll be a face-off with 15 seconds remaining, and now everybody Checking out Steve Mason, who, as we pointed out at the beginning of the broadcast, left practice early yesterday and had an MRI and an undisclosed injury. So we're watching him closely as it is.
Yeah, and here's the save sequence here. A lot of down low puck movement that he scrambles across to try to keep out of net. And you'll see how slow he is to get back to his skates.
The ref asked him if he's okay, Jones, and he said, yeah, I'm okay. So that's a good sign.
Off the face-off, Coburn trying to clear. Got it to the line, and it hops past Niskanen into the neutral zone. He's then checked by Giroux, steals, gets to Umberger for the shot, and a stick save for Holtby as the first period comes to an end. A good period for the Flyers. They end up even in shots with the Caps 10-10 at even strength. The Flyers just given credit for one more shot, so it's 11-10 Flyers. Ovechkin on the board for the Caps. Couturier for the Flyers 1-1 after 20 minutes. Tonight's second period action is brought to you by your local Delaware Valley Audi dealers and legendary Audi Quattro all-wheel drive, the world's top-selling luxury all-wheel drive system. By McDonald's, any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Cure Auto Insurance, drive well. John Couturier evening things. 1-1 after one. Here are the numbers courtesy of Rothman and Jefferson.
Yeah, lots of hits for the Flyers in that period. 8 hits for the Capitals, one of them on Nick Grossman, and he has not returned.
Ovechkin started the scoring. Couturier then tied the game. And that's where we stand. 1-1. Our GMC NHL update takes you to Boston. Bruins right back in action tonight. And this is Milan Lucic definitively getting a goal. Lucic is 7th of the year. 1-0 Boston. The Bruins trying to get their season in gear. They haven't been playing as well as many expected they would so far, but a big win last night and now ahead tonight.
Yeah, called out by ownership, as Chris Therien was talking about, and they seem to have a little snarl back to their game, playing better defensively of late, even though they had dropped 3 overtime and games in a row.
And I said Lucic scored last night in overtime. It was Bergeron. Lucic shot the puck, and I thought it was off the glove of the defenseman, not the stick. My bad.
We'll forgive you, Chris.
You know what? I just assumed that word, that it was Lucic's goal.
There's a shot from the point that hits Simmons and bounces to the corner. Bruins, as Chris mentioned earlier, will be here on Saturday afternoon, their first visit. So it'll be second time they play. Flyers over their season. But here are the Capitals centering. One goes all the way across. Now Ovechkin to the high slot for Fair. Tips to Carlson. His shot is blocked. Flyers have had their issues in the second period after strong first, especially on that road trip. Just want to keep up what they were doing in the first. Was applying pressure, finishing checks. I think smart defensively. Good Shen. It's to Delzato. Nice tip pass for Lott. And ahead, but not handled by Alaffa. Just a little bit too far for him. And so it's Brooks Orpik instead. To Carlson, and now Orpik hits and blocks leader for the Capitals. In off of Joe Ward's stick. And now it's chopped down the ice by the Flyers, at least out to center by Luke Shen. Alsner has it back as the Flyers are changing. Sends it in off the stick of Light, but that sails up into the safety netting, and we get a whistle.
Flyers get that penalty kill to start the period, get the job done. They were very good in the PK last night, and Steve Mason, a big part of that last penalty kill. Looks like he's okay to continue on in this game after getting up gingerly after a few Capital opportunities in and around the crease area.
Have not had any report on Grossman after being left taking that hit while playing the puck up over the glass, leading to that power play for the Capitals. And of course, once we get the report, we'll pass it along to you, but he has not joined the team here. So the Flyers with 5 defensemen right now. Strike one of them. Got the puck in, but offside call.
Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the hockey game. And you know what? I think what Simmons is saying here, guys, talking about we have a half a season left and a lot of work to do. They did it before. That's what he said. They did it last year when Giroux basically said, hey, we're going to make the playoffs, and there's no reason to think they can't do it again. That's the optimism you have to have. That's a positive nature you need to have going through your leadership in the locker room. And Simmons is absolutely right. If you've done it before, you want history to repeat itself, but Flyers are probably going to need to put together a real good string of games, guys, and they're going to have to do that as soon as possible.
Craig Berube has said he probably understands just as much as we do that is true, Chris, but the Flyers can't think of it that way. They basically have to look at each game as a separate entity, get something started. Here's Voracek, a great pass, tripping penalty coming up against Washington. Voracek went into the boards heavily after being upended, and he is now wincing.
Yeah, he's okay. Just gave the ref and linesman a little heads up going, yeah, I'm okay. Ready to
Washington
go.
74, minor penalty trip.
John Carlson's going to pick up the penalty for tripping. A nice play through the neutral zone. Giroux and Voracek coming with speed, and there's the trip right there. Voracek goes in heavily.
It's about the best way you want to land too, Jonesy. And it seems like the worst thing to say, but right in the meat of his back, when you're flying in like that, or the seat of your pants, and Voracek took that exactly how you'd want to land in the boards is how he did it right there, so he's okay.
Staying out for the power play, the first power play of the game for Philadelphia. There's Voracek trying to keep that puck deep in the zone, but Caps play it past him and all the way down. Flyers continue with the best home ice power play in the NHL. Frank Belsinski of St. Vincent, New Jersey, hoping that power play can put some money in his pocket right here. Strike to Giroux. Down low, Simmons tried to center, goes off a skate. They jam it, it goes in the net, but it's being waved off as they're saying play was halted first. Well, now all four officials, as you can see, are getting together.
I think the linesman's saying it's a good goal. I think he's saying that there's no intent to blow the whistle. And I think he's arguing the case for the Flyers. The ref looked like he said no goal. He did. He waved it off immediately. We'll see what happens here.
That referee, Ghislain Hébert, who is now going over to discuss things with the off-ice officials. Augie Conti right there.
There's no goal in the play. The puck was under the pad and it was jammed in. No goal.
Well, they're saying it was under the pad long enough to get the whistle, or at least get the referee in the process of blowing the whistle.
There's the pad of Holtby, and there's the push afterwards. Holtby having a look there on the net cam. There's the play off the skate of Orpuk, and then the jam play by Schenn and Simmons that pushed the puck over the line.
Certainly, Flyers doing what they have to do, playing until the whistle.
Flyers not happy with the call either down here, guys, at ice level. They're saying that, nothing wrong with that. It was not held long enough. But again, no goal, moot point at this point.
Strike will play it to Schenn as the Flyers look to get set back up on the power play. Puck bouncing towards Simmons, swats at it, but now Brouwer will backhand it out of the zone. That's the midpoint of the man advantage. Flyers are going to put the second unit out now. Strike gives to Voracek, racing up the left wing. Voracek cutting to the middle, deals to LeCavalier, but his shot deflected, goes to the glass. Chimera will turn and fling it all the way down. Flyers go back, Strike staying out. And he'll move up, pass in the middle. Couturier settles, but Schultz jumps over the boards. Schultz to Delzato, and now LeCavalier. In the middle, redirection try by Couturier goes wide. Schultz jams it around behind the net, skips back out. LeCavalier. Waiting, Schultz sneaking in from the point. LeCavalier saw him, but didn't feel as though there was a seam to get him the pass. Now Schultz has it. Looks, centers, LeCavalier shot! Missed it wide. All the way out to Ward. Out of the box is Carlson, but the pass for him is detected by Delzato, who then enters the Washington zone. Delzato swinging wide to the left wing. There's one is blocked. Now Couturier to it. To five-a-side hockey. Delzato in the corner, now back around. LeCavalier flagging that down. Gets it to the point. Luke Schenn sends one toward the net. It's snared by Holtby, and he'll hang on.
Well, you can make your plans now to attend this year's Flyers Wives Carnival on March the 1st. Rub elbows with your favorite Flyers, including an all-new goalies past and present experience. Visit PhiladelphiaFlyers.com/carnival to buy early and save. Stanley will be there, I'm sure.
Stanley does have a way of making an appearance at the carnival.
Yes. Always a hit.
Awful centering, shot by Belmar. Off the stick and then the glass. Belmar over after Burakovsky. And the Capitals get the puck out to center. See Luke Schenn skates. Schenn takes it out of there. Takes a hit from Raffl as he plays it around behind the net. Luke Schenn jam that one ahead, but it's Burakovsky centering, and it's tipped away by Coburn. I got to Niskanen. He takes a hit from Raffl. Now Vandevelde. Look around, trying to pass. Burakovsky knocked it down. Belmar gets to it now. And Raffl, he didn't get it out of the zone. Burakovsky to Backstrom. Be careful with those passes at your own line. When that line, this line for Washington is out, they say that puck stayed in the zone. And Schmidt's shot is handled by Mason.
You got to be aware of turnovers, as you just said, JJ, in certain areas of the rink, and who's on the ice. And that line right there, a bad turnover by one of the Flyers, I believe Raffl, or Belmar, excuse me, did not come out of the zone, and you come back in transition with guys like Backstrom looking for Ovechkin. That's when the game becomes very difficult.
That's back to what we were talking about. One of the objectives for the Flyers in this game. For the most part, have been pretty good with the puck, but it'll take long for the puck to be in dangerous territory. Like a shot there, and that one bounces off of Mason. And up over the net. Reed trying to clear. Flyers knock it down, 2-on-1. Simmons with Lawton. Simmons the shot, and that one taken. I hope be no further play. Did it calmly.
Pretty tricky move there by Wayne Simmons. He was thinking pass originally. That was closed off after Matt Reed does a nice job to get the puck to Lawton. And Simmons is looking pass first and then quickly set it around the stick of Orpik and then fired it at Braden Holtby.
Should see the torque. You see the torque on his stick when he went down to snap that puck off? That stick almost looked like it was going to break in half. Great job by Simmons.
Chances dead even here through the first 25 minutes and change of this hockey game. Flyers get the puck to Simmons here. Simmons a shot blocked. Niskanen. Simmons has it back. Centers Reed a shot, and Holtby made the arm save, and the Capitals move back. Ward to the Philadelphia line. Up there by Strike. Blake follows up the play but turns it over. It's Lawton the other way. Lawton around a stick check of Niskanen. Lawton in across the Washington line. Lawton finds Reed, but the pass was in his skates. And Reed never did get control. Washington will chop it ahead. Blake. And now Hall's going to wind it in. That one takes a strange hop off the side of the net. Mason locates it. The Flyers have it. Wayne Simmons in the middle for Reed. One hands it to the Washington zone, but right back out over the Caps. Kuznetsov, the regarded youngster, Johansson. Yeah, whistle stopping play on the offside. 13:21 remaining, second period.
Tied up at 1-1 here. Official word from Ron Hextall, the Flyers general manager. Nicholas Grossman will not return to the game. Suffered an upper body injury there late in the first period. Tom Wilson with contact, and Grossman in a lot of discomfort before he left this game. And he will not return.
Grossman's been able to stay healthy this year. He's had some injury issues throughout his career. Just a couple of seasons of over 75 games played, but done for tonight. Hopefully it's not long term. And for the group of the defensemen, 5 of them will play the bulk of this game, and see how much of an impact that has. I know Chris has talked about the fact that as much as the defensemen are playing more, it's a matter of playing with different partners all the time, on uneven amount. Puck bounces high in the air. Umberger leaping, gloves it to himself. And Umberger's pass cross ice. Burakovsky will take that. Try to maneuver around Schultz. Lost his stick in the process. Backstrom trying to get it back to the point, but it's stuck. Fast green out to the neutral zone.
Good non-call by the referee. Burakovsky had the stick knocked out of his hands, but the ref deemed him to be a little weak holding that stick, so did not make that call.
Another offside call there.
You're right, Jonesy. You know what? There's a price to pay for going into a battle zone, and there's got to be some kind of a leeway allowed by the refs. You're going to see Burakovsky going down the side right here. Schultz ends up coming and just gave him a little whack. You got to have your 2 hands on your stick. I remember before, forwards going to the front of the net, you literally have to battle through a lot more than that. And the ref was looking right at it as well, so that's a good non-call. Gotta like that a little bit. Let the refs let them play a little bit. At least battle for some of the area that they deem they deserve.
Luke Shen. Delzato now up the middle. Big forecheck, a beeline in the shot right into the chest. Holtby, and he'll hang on to it. Check out the CSN Philly mobile app. Breaking news and analysis from our insiders, plus video, scores, schedules, and more. Visit csnphilly.com/app. Download today.
RJ Umberger looking a little sore there on the Flyers bench.
Off the draw, Braden Shen's shot is blocked. Delzato, forward check, but he was unable to come up with it. The Capitals will move it ahead to Ovechkin. Cross ice. Open for Carlson, but it's Delzato looking for forward check. He stumbled a bit as he was getting close to that puck. Now played back in. Delzato has it. We approach the 8-minute mark of the second period. Only one shot on goal for the Capitals thus far in the second. There's Giroux. It's into the Washington zone. Orpik. Check. Popped up the puck. Set down low. Through forward check. He'll get to it on the boards to Streit in the middle. Schultz. The shot. Deflection. And it did not go as Holtby was there. It's Chris Van de Velde who redirected that. Now Schultz for Van de Velde. Now we're forward checking Giroux for the moment. And the scramble for the puck. Giroux will stuff it to the other side of the ice. Right in deep, but Ovechkin is there. Got it past Belmar, racing over his Schultz. Good read there, and he'll just chop that puck. It bounces off of Belmar back into the Philadelphia zone. Caps had players going off the ice, didn't want to touch it and get too many men on the ice penalty. So Belmar now into the Washington zone. Van de Velde. Dug loose by LeCavalier, who centers the shot! That one sails high and wide as Delzato could not finish it. Coburn. On the boards, Belmar, Van de Velde, now LeCavalier. LeCavalier spin move, trying to step in front but lost control. Kuznetsov, Belmar, now LeCavalier, they're all there. The Capitals come away with the puck. Marcus Johansson, in addition to the Philadelphia zone. Delzato back, Brouwer will jab it to the other side of the ice. There's Kuznetsov, Lawton marking him. Kuznetsov dropping it back for Brouwer, who centers, but Delzato is in a good spot there to knock it away. Now it's worked free by the Caps. Get it to the slot, but the Flyers are there. It's Simmons. Simmons with the outlet pass. Raffl steps it across the Washington line. Raffl around behind the net, ridden into the boards by Green. Simmons for the puck. To Raffl. Takes a look. Drops it off for Luke Shen, but he's checked now. Raffl as he's falling. Got it to Lawton. Lawton for Simmons. Simmons. Checked by Mike Green. Lawton lifted free. Simmons has it again. Simmons banking it back out to the point. Straight. Going to right himself there. Now he'll dish it along for Lawton. Lawton checked by Green. Keeps his legs moving. Works to the puck, but then he is checked by Beagle. And the puck moves ahead to Chimera. This is clearly a better checking Capitals team than we've seen in the last couple of years. Beagle moves up, fires it wide. Flyers are working very hard in this game. The Capitals much more diligent with their checking defensively.
They have been, and they've blocked a lot of shots in this game, too.
Nate Schmidt, a shot here. The deflection goes wide, and then play is called as the puck was hit with a high stick. 9:18 remaining in the second.
Flyers, Capitals.
On Comcast Sportsnet.
On Comcast Sportsnet.
Flyers down to 5D. That's more ice time for Michael Delzato and more opportunities as he jumps into the offensive zone here. Flyers looking to try to get the one-goal lead here. Delzato fires it high to the glove side of Braden Holtby. Not sure if Holtby got a little piece of that or not. Right idea. Michael Delzato continues to be aggressive in the offensive zone.
Confidence, something that is so elusive, but as he gets more confident, he needs to take more chances like that. Holtby's interesting with the glove. It's hard to tell sometimes when he makes the glove save. A lot of the goalies will do the windmill or really make it known that they've got it in the glove. He doesn't do that. You have to really watch closely.
It's interesting with that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty quirky guy.
He is. Here's Giroux backhanding. That's knocked down by Carlson, who then ices the puck. And so the faceoff will go back down in the Washington zone. This Capitals team with this great run they're on, and they've done plenty of it on the road, as they have as many points as any team in the NHL. 3 other teams with 27 points. The Caps 7-1-2 in their last 10 games away from the nation's capital, so they are very comfortable playing on the road.
Flyers want to really push here before this second period ends, see if they can get themselves a lead in this one. And winning offensive zone faceoffs will go a long way towards that.
And the Flyers get to the puck here. Voracek continues to control the puck, drops it off Streit. Streit runs into traffic, including one of the referees, and the Capitals get the puck. Ward, fair, into the Philadelphia zone. Like after Flyer defenseman there, Flyers will move it ahead. There's Delzato again, a nice play. And here's Braden Shen across for Voracek, bouncing puck, gets to the corner, and Ward gains control. Ahead to Like. Brooks Like, full flight through center, but lost the puck, and it's chipped up in the air right into a change for the Capitals. Couturier was stymied, and the puck will bounce back across ice. Still just one shot on goal for the Capitals here in the second period. We played almost 12 minutes. Couturier's pass here is knocked down, swatted at by Ovechkin. Now it's Coburn. Ahead to Couturier, and he'll lift one in. Capital zone. Reed after with Ovechkin. Seal him off. Now they're checking the steal by Umberger, but he's quickly run into. Couturier, shot! Save! Holtby. So he had to fight through a little traffic and spot that puck.
I think it was tipped by a Capital forward. Might have been Burkowski that got a stick on it. Tricky save for Holtby.
Burkowski now the other way. It's to Ovechkin. Flyers get it right back. Couturier will just play it deep into the Washington zone. The line will head off the ice. Mentioned that the Ovechkin line is nearing the end of the shift as well. There's Schmidt ahead to the grade 8 as they call him. He'll take a shot, but it's nullified by Luke Schenn. Off the bench is Wilson, and he'll get to it for Washington. Shoved that by Luke Schenn. The puck bouncing toward the slot. Schenn after it there, and then it's off a stick and up into the safety netting.
Flyers with another opportunity down in the Capitals zone. It's Couturier's shot, and the stick right there of the Capitals defenseman. And Matt Niskanen there.
These ones that bounce think are dangerous. You're right, Jones. Able to hop before it. Gets a little bit more air. It may jump up over the pad of Holtby.
Not a lot of shots, period, here in the second. 7 total, but 6 of the 7 belong to Philadelphia. Chimera looking for Jay Beagle. Centered it all the way through and all the way out to the neutral zone and down the ice.
I can tell you the Washington Capitals coach, Barry Trotz, is working the bench pretty hard here, guys. And very vocal tonight. Usually kind of calm, but he is yelling at these Capitals tonight.
Capitals have struggled in the second half of back-to-backs this year. Played last night, as you mentioned, in Toronto. They're 1-5 this year when playing in back-to-back nights. Been outscored by a big margin. Trying to work through that. Flyers trying to take advantage of that. Here's Delzato. Back to Luke Schenn. The boards Raffl just trying to clear the zone. Niskanen kept that in. And now Brouwer to Alsner for a shot blocked. Wayne Simmons got in the way of that one. Puck behind the net. Brouwer to Johansson. He fanned on a pass. Second try blocked by Simmons. Johansson has it back again. Johansson to Alsner. Alsner across ice. Niskanen. Niskanen with a pass because Netsov set it across ice, and that one off the stick and out of play. 5:40 remaining, second period, still deadlocked at 1.
Welcome back. Have a look at Steve Mason right there. And Steve Mason is tonight's Independence Blue Cross Fearless Play recipient. Look at this, guys. Look how many times he has to move here. Up, down, twisting, all that movement on the hip, the knees, the groins. And Mason holding true right there. That's a big sequence towards the end of the period by the Capitals. Keep the score 1-1 where we remain to this point. Steve Mason with the Independence Blue Cross Fearless Play of the game.
Well, it's pretty clear he's not 100%. And that's the case with Claude Giroux as well. We've seen Claude wincing several times again here tonight as he is playing with the cut on his leg. The draw here, a shot blocked by Coburn. It's in his equipment and it drops down on the ice. Giroux will get control of it. Bounces free, kept in the zone by Alsner. Giroux to it now, and he'll backhand out. Right back in onside. Kuznetsov with a shot. High and wide. And into the corner, Braden Shen. Checked and lost it. Capitals get it back. Here's Carlson. On the wall, and a nice play by Shen to take the puck back for Philadelphia. Heads out with it. Braden Shen waits, fires, and that one off the stick and out of play.
Another blocked shot for John Carlson, doing a nice job in the one-on-one. Braden Shen's idea was right, get it towards the net and see if he can create a rebound opportunity.
Game 3 of this 4-game homestand is a matinee on Saturday, a 1 o'clock start against the Boston Bruins. Flyers. The Bruins will take over the second time this season. The Bruins are clinging to that second wild card spot. They have not really been able to get it going full bore yet this year. They're really the target, along with the
2-0 lead for them tonight, guys, last I saw. So we're going to start maybe that warning by ownership. It's taken true by the Bruins, and they've picked it up. Wow, that was unbelievable. A team that just won the Cup 3-4 years ago, and their owner was letting them have it.
Capitals moving up here, an angle shot, and that's their first shot. Saw the graphic up there moments ago in almost a half a period. Got that one in on Mason. And now the Flyers move it back to center ice. As far as the Boston situation goes, the window's beginning to close in Boston, and some of the players like Big Z and Ochara, and they realize they need to get something done here. And there's extra pressure there as that shot bounces off of Mason's glove out to Alsner for a shot. And that one, Mason, even though it was going well over the cage, grabs a hold of and hangs on.
They won the Cup in 2011, the Boston Bruins did, in dramatic fashion. Game 7's all over the place, that series.
Mason getting himself ready as Claude Giroux. Jay Beagle duel on this draw. The Caps win it. Shot by Schmidt. Save, rebound, and Wilson denied in tight. Mason's stick ends up in the corner. The Flyers, though, head out on the 3-on-2. Voracek up the right wing. Voracek hoping for Giroux, but that was broken up. Kept in by Coburn. They go across ice. Stripe just chops it to the corner. Braden Shen around for Voracek. Voracek looks in the middle, goes back out, bouncing puck, and it gets past Stripe. Right on his wrist. That puck to Coburn for Voracek. And he'll turn back with it. Pursued by Burakovsky. And now the Flyers with a long stretch pass for Voracek. Gains the line. Voracek dropping it off. Couturier. Couturier has the Philadelphia goal. Hang on to the puck. And we get away from Backstrom. Now behind the net. Shen. Heavy traffic. Got it out in front. Umberger's shot. Save Holtby, bounces free, the blue paint was kept out of there by the Caps. Now Schultz's shot goes wide, bounces out of the Umberger, in front Braden Shen, and he fired it wide. Now it's Umberger again. And they get it back out. Luke Shen to Couturier. Luke Shen fires, and that goes off the stick to the corner. Couturier. Burakovsky a big ball swing at it. Luke Shen keeps it into Umberger. Turns it toward the net, and that one kicked out of there by Orpik. Burakovsky moving up. Umberger steals it again. To Couturier. Couturier turning, and his shot is blocked off by Orpik. Couturier did not see. He had a man in front there, but couldn't get the puck to him. Now Ovechkin, 1-on-3. And he'll take the quick shot that sails well wide and all the way out to Belmar. He darts out to center. Belmar, drop pass. Umberger around behind the net. Reed could not come up with it. Green will send it up the wall. Over to keep it in. Strike. Backhands. There's Johansson. 2.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Johansson up the left wing. Johansson trying to center, blocked by Strike. Now it's Reed the other way. Flyers have done a really good job closing down the passing and shooting lanes in this game. Delzato. Go forward in the offensive zone, tried to center. It did not get through. Belmar was there. Now Raffel keeps it in. Around the corner, stood up by Schmidt. And the Caps get the puck back. Here's Kuznetsov on the red line and sending it in. Mason will stop it. Get to the Cavalier. He redirects it out to the neutral zone. Alsner right back on it. Drilling it back in. And Schultz first to it. For Coburn. Now it's tipped. The Cavalier and down the ice. Raffel and Niskanen in pursuit. Niskanen takes Raffel in. Raffel stays after it. Raffel trying to get that back out now, and Lake intercepts. Brooks Lake moving up. Missing Fair with that pass, and Luke Schenn now forced back by Fair behind the net. Schenn will get it to the wall. Giroux off the bench. And with some help, Simmons gets it out of the zone. Simmons trying to get it back to Giroux, could not. Ward has it. Ward with the pass to Light. He's stopped as he got into the Philadelphia zone. And now it's just hammered deep by Alston. Giroux has it again. Shannon now Giroux. Giroux ahead. This Voracek. Carlson. Right wing dish. Giroux is there. Into the final minute of this second period. It's a scoreless second period. Flyers misfire here. Would have been icing, but a good job by Schenn to get there and cancel it. Aiden Schenn now digging for that puck. Voracek as well. Here's Giroux getting it. Dropped it back. Schultz a shot. Oh, it hit Giroux. And it bounces back out to the neutral zone, having to race over is Delzato. Delzato for Voracek. Voracek trying to get it back, and it's stolen by Johansson. In across the line, Johansson, a shot! I think it was tipped by Delzato wide. Back behind the net, Johansson again. Johansson centering a shot! Mason got there to close the door. Bounces back out in front. And the puck was hit with a high stick, and so the whistle stops play.
Holtby's been busy in this one, and he came up with a couple of outstanding saves after the move by Brayden Schenn behind the net. A real nice dipsy-do around Nicholas Backstrom. Umberger with the chance. Holtby with the first save, and then some help from Backstrom, who came back to help his goaltender out. The puck going into the blue paint there, and Holtby and Backstrom team up to keep it out of there.
Holtby getting some work done here. Guys on his helmet. I think one of the straps popped off. Let's take a look at our Wells Fargo check of the game. And Luke Schenn here back in the lineup tonight, guys. He's been good. Physical, and he has to be against his team on either side. Right there behind the net on Tom Wilson. Pretty tough customer, big boy himself for the Capitals. That's Luke Schenn with the Wells Fargo check of the game. He's been good here tonight, Luke Schenn. I think when he plays within himself, goes up and down the ice, plays physical, move the puck, he can be a very, very effective defenseman.
Despite missing time as a healthy scratch, he's second on the team in hits. He is physical. Holtby readying himself. Final 22 seconds of the period. Right off the draw, the shot where Mason goes wide. And now here's Couturier. And Umberger with him as he moves to center. Couturier tripped up penalty. Delayed call. Umberger sent it off from Holtby out into the slot. Coburn a shot wide. Out the other side. Capitals play the puck. And there's the whistle. 7.3 seconds on the second period clock. And a tripping infraction against Washington.
Orpik's going to head to the penalty box. Gets the stick
Washington
in the
number 44, minor penalty, tripping.
feet of Couturier, who's been all over the ice at both ends. And Orpik takes him down to the ice there. Umberger, an alert play right after that, getting the puck to the net.
You know, it's one of those plays where the defenseman have been in that situation. Orpik's in. He's probably trying to play the one-on-one with a good stick, and instead he tries to swat the puck. It goes under the skate of Couturier. Fortunately, he goes down. Flyers with a power play.
There's your McDonald's power play payoff contestant. 7 seconds to work with. And now 6.2. They're going to have to put the time back on. Wayne Simmons all over that. As they're going to drop this puck again. And they do restore the second and a tenth that had kicked off the clock. So 7.3. Giroux. Troy Brouwer. Giroux wins it. Back out to the point. Strike. Looking for a seam. Back to Giroux. Giroux waits to Voracek shot. And I heard a ping as it stayed out, and then the horn sounds. Flyers very patient there as time was winding down. They'll still have 1 minute and 53 seconds of power play time to start the third. Through 2 periods of play, the Caps and Flyers tied at 1. Tonight's Flyers Capitals second period was brought to you by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Saturday's Powerball jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $162 million. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. Players must be 18 years or older. Also brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. Intermission Live brought to you by Delaware Valley Honda Dealers is next. John Borek and Brian Boucher analyze second period action after this. Tonight's third period on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by your Philadelphia Super Network Buick GMC dealers. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance.
There's no goal in play.
Ovechkin and Couturier way back in the first period were the only goals of this game. Here are the numbers through two. Courtesy of Rothman Institute at Jefferson.
Capitals just 4 shots on goal in that second period. An outstanding effort from the Flyers defensively. Now the bad news is it's still 1-1. The Flyers will be looking to get that next one and get the lead.
GMC update takes you to Raleigh. The Sabres and Hurricanes. Kind of like David Watch, perhaps on for these two teams. Yuri Talusti, nice feed from Nathan Gerby. Gives Carolina the 2-1 lead, and then they just add to it. A couple bank shots. Eric Stahl will get credit for this one off of Weber in front. And then Victor Rask will have this shot. Hit shin pad, I think, after stick and in. They both count. And the Hurricanes with a 4-1 advantage over Buffalo.
Carolina playing much better of late. Ovechkin the only goal scorer for the Washington Capitals in this one. An early power play goal in the first period. Captain a little quiet in the second period. Orpik in the box here to start the third.
So the opportunity for the Flyers with a minute and 53 seconds of power play time to start the third. A little research was done. You think about the clean sheet of ice being positive for a power play, but actually the numbers on power plays to start periods are down compared to other power plays. I guess maybe it has something to do with being in sync for the team coming out of the locker room.
Maybe it's the discussions in the in the intermission between periods and the preparation that goes into defending. Maybe a little extra happens there. Sometimes those power plays are split up. They kill off 30 seconds to end the second period and come out and kill the last minute 30. It's an interesting study.
Here the Flyers have almost a complete power play to start this period. We'll see if they can do anything with it as Streit sends it out to Giroux. Flyers going offside. Voracek beat the puck in. So they'll face it off out in center ice.
A couple close ones at the line here in this game. Lions been doing a very good job again.
Jake a little bit frustrated here with himself. Guys gave Giroux a little I'm sorry as he went by. Not much he could do, though. You want to come with speed, and that's what Jake tried to do.
Wayne Simmons gets the puck in. It bounces off of the skate of Niskanen back to Holtby, and he'll cover up.
Offensive zone face-off here for the Flyers. That's how they picked up their power play goal against the Ottawa Senators. A face-off win by Claude Giroux. A little help from Braden Shannon jumping through, and then Giroux eventually working the puck to Wayne Simmons.
And the Flyers gain control off the draw. Here is Streit. Dish to Giroux, and they're set up. Simmons in his office turns and did not make a play as Niskanen got to him. They obviously saw the game the other night. We're not going to let Simmons have the time to make a play. Giroux out to Streit, and now Voracek waits back across Giroux. He'll hold on and get it back to Streit for the shot, and that one rejected in front and cleared.
Beautiful setup there. The shot was timed just about right. Double screen set in front, and the rebound just stayed away from the stick of Braden Shannon.
Here's Voracek. Stopped in across the line, and now the puck bounced all the way down the ice. It's a race. Out comes Mason to keep it away from Eric Fair, but he played it to Beagle. Jay Beagle moves in with it all the way around behind the Philadelphia net. And he's worked on there by Streit, but still able to maintain control, and he's wasting time off the Philadelphia power play. Fair will continue that process, and in fact get it back to Green. Green will take a shot, blockered away by Mason to the corner, but now it's Fair with the shot. Save, rebound in front, and the Caps tip it to the corner, and the crowd not happy. The Flyers spending some time in their own zone with their own power play, and it's down to just 18 seconds remaining. Alsner will get to Green as the Flyers changing players, so an easy clear here for the Caps. A bouncer in on Mason. He's got to accept it and take the face-off.
Mason the busier of the two goalies here. Well, the Flyers had the power play opportunity. It's the Capitals that ring one off the mask of Steve Mason. That's why he's checking it for some quick repairs right off the side there. And then he was in position to try to grab that rebound before Voracek came to his aid.
Evidently some damage as goaltender being allowed to go to the bench to get that mask repaired. Derek Settlemeyer right there.
Friends get engaged over the holiday season. Time to start planning those bachelorette parties. Book yours in a suite at a Flyers game, including a private bathroom, wait service, and great catering options for 12 to 24 guests. Call 215-389-9500.
Like Steve Mason's getting attended to here, guys. It's a helmet issue. The straps come off sometimes. He went down, so he's got to wait, and referees are patiently hanging with him here.
Settlemeyer working as quickly as possible, trying to get that strap.
Yeah, these guys happened to Holtby in the second period, too. So, again, they make it a little bit, they're tied on with those plastic straps, and when they unhinge, that's what Derek Settlemeyer's trying to do right now, is make sure it's
where it snaps on.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly it.
It's going to get another plastic piece popped on. He got those leather gloves off, and now he's able to get the hands in there and get this thing set so he can snap it on there, and Steve Mason can get back to work.
These guys are unbelievable how quick and effective they are, both Harry Bricker and Derek Settlemeyer. And you can see the backup mask that Harry has right there.
They're ready with it, but
ready to go.
So we'll go back out onto the ice after repairs are made. He explains to the referee what was going on. And we'll have this face-off to his left. 8 seconds left on the Orpik penalty. Couturier and Ward ready for the draw. Delzato gets the puck and will shuttle it back around for Luke Schenn as the power play comes to an end. The early opportunity here in the third has gone by the boards for the Flyers. We remain tied at 1. Full strength hockey is Couturier. Surges through center. Up the right wing with it. And then he lost control. But will guide it along the boards to Ward, who on the tape with his outlet to the speedy Jason Chimera. Chimera with a pass for Backstrom. There he got finished off by Luke Schenn as Backstrom will tip it back around. Now Chimera. To Burakovsky. Burakovsky will turn and fire. It's redirected in front. Backstrom got his stick on that, but Mason was able to smother it.
Tricky little play in tight there. Mason has not been busy of late. Just 4 Capital shots in the second period, but 3 here to start the third period. And the traffic gets to the front there. A quick shot from Burakovsky and a little tip from Backstrom.
Yeah, 2 guys followed Burakovsky up the ice. That's what left Backstrom alone right there. Delzato's got to get that head on a swivel. Good play by Couturier, who ends up being the forward. The good patience to go back to the front of the net and help out the D.
Flyers gain control off the draw. Nick Schultz off the wall, hoping for Vandevelde, but he was checked by Alsner. Schultz will try the other side for Raffl. He lost it to Ovechkin, but out in the neutral zone. There's Mike Green. Green, pass in the skates. Free Vandevelde and Backstrom battling. Ovechkin to Backstrom. Up by Bellemare. Flyers have it. They'll try this side of the ice. Green knocks it down, avoids the check, flings. Save Mason. Block it toward the corner. Back out to Green. Cross ice, it goes. Alsner is there. Send it toward the net. They score! Might have gone off of Ovechkin. It bounced off of something. It appeared and went in. Or maybe it went through the screen. Either way, it ends up in the net. And the Capitals take a 2-1 lead early in the third.
Referees having a conversation here, checking to see if there was any contact with the stick of Alexander Ovechkin, who's set up in front with Braden Coburn. High rising shot there. It looks like it avoids Ovechkin based on his celebration. Looks like it went past him. There's the stick there, and it looks like it just drops down. Not sure if there was contact with Coburn or Vandevelde.
I initially thought it hit Ovechkin, Jonesy. I didn't suspect that there was a high stick, but it looks like it went over from the outside. The shot's taken.
So look at Backstrom's stick here too.
Oh, you know what? That may have been it right there. That's it. And it was going in the descending motion. So to me, that's a really, really quick eye by you. And I'll tell you what, I didn't see that, but I thought Ovechkin had it, and it looks like it's going to be Backstrom because that puck clearly redirected to some degree. Even just a couple inches was enough to throw Mason off guard for it.
Now they'll check to see if the stick of Nicholas Backstrom was below the crossbar when he made contact with the puck. And of course it is all about where the blade of the stick was, if it hit the heel or the toe. And you can see it was pretty high up there.
It's close.
And sent down to the ice. Not sure what the call on the ice was. Did the referees give any indication after they met and talked? There's the stick of Backstrom there, and it is the toe that catches it. So it is going to be a real difficult one to determine. If they called it a goal on the ice, then it has to be enough evidence to overturn that call, and that's always a difficult one.
I believe it was ruled a goal on the ice. You know what happened? The stick went up, so it gave the appearance that it was high, but as the puck came down, it was his stick descending upon it. You see it high, and then it's coming down right there. It depends what they're looking at now. And again, there's nowhere to gauge that with the crossbar in that the exact frame that we're seeing. The league gets different reviews than we get, but interesting enough, it's clearly the redirection of the stick by Backstrom where the goal went in.
And so we wait for the ruling from Toronto. Chris Vandevelde was right on it. As soon as the puck went in, he pointed up.
Yeah.
Upstairs, actually meaning go to Toronto. Look at this one.
And a pretty good set of hands there for Backstrom to reach over on the backhand. That's the most difficult way to redirect a puck for the forward in front. And Backstrom tracks it all the way in visually and then puts the stick right there.
Oh, that's close.
And makes contact.
Extremely close, Jimmy. It's just strange because it's on a downward motion. It's hard to tell from that angle whereabouts it was. When I saw it here, I thought it was Ovechkin, and I was looking right at it, and it was hard to tell that there was a high stick coming from anywhere in there. I didn't suspect that enough when I saw it live, but in the replay, it's a close one.
These are the toughest ones to overturn just based on camera angles. Of all the plays that are reviewed, these are the most difficult. Here's the end zone look. You see Backstrom reaching across and tapping it out of the air. Clearly, there's contact made. It's just whether or not it's below the crossbar. Not fans here watching in the arena vision think it was well above the crossbar.
You know one thing though, guys, when you look at the puck never really differentiated in the height either way. It was coming in a direction. It looked like he was staying at that direction, so it tells you the puck was below the crossbar.
There's one more look, and you'll see the tip there goes down and touches Mason, and before it kind of went up a little bit off the Flyer goaltender too.
Clearly the length of this review indicates how close a call this is.
Contact there, down a little bit towards Mason and then back up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough one to tell.
I don't know how it could have gone back up again. If it was a descending, it looked like the puck did take a downward turn and then went back up again, unless it caught a piece of his shoulder. Really tough replay.
This is one of the longer reviews we've witnessed.
Last night's in the Bruins game that we were talking about earlier, the Bergeron redirection, similar in a lot of ways to this one. All four referees conferred, and then they pointed to center ice to say that it was a goal before they went to review.
Chris Lee with our answer.
After reviewing the play, it is inclusive on the evidence, and therefore this goal.
So the review could not definitively turn it away from the call on the ice, which was a goal. And so Backstrom will get credit for the goal, and the Capitals take the lead.
So the Flyers will try to battle back here. Ottawa took a one-goal lead in the third period on Tuesday night, and the Flyers responded quickly with a power play goal. And have to dig down here to try to get this one back.
The Caps scored 3:08 of the first. They scored 3:08 of the third. They have the advantage again. There's Simmons chopping one into the Washington zone. Carlson and Lawton after. Lawton for LeCavalier back out to Streit. Streit a quick shot. Redirection Simmons, but it goes wide. Simmons back after. Quick shot blocked by Orpik. And now it bounces ahead, and it's taken the other way. Johansson will bounce it deep into the Philadelphia zone. Mason gets it to Streit. Streit ahead off of LeCavalier, but he could not corral it. Niskanen will go across to Alzner. Ahead through Johansson. Wide of the net. Icing the goal. So they're giving the goal to Alzner.
No.
No, that's wrong. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, they announced Alzner here in the arena. We'll see if they change that. But the whole review was to determine whether or not that stick was.
Well, maybe they
not.
determined he didn't make contact with it, but it sure looked like he made contact with it on the replays that we saw. Alzner not worried who gets credit for the goal, and Backstrom to jump out there on the next shift.
Here is Coburn sending it along to Voracek. Cross ice, he's got Delzato. Takes it around behind the net and then centers, and that's knocked aside by Kuznetsov. And the other way go the Capitals. Just play it deep into the Philadelphia zone. Coburn get to Voracek. Quickly ahead to Giroux. He's tied up by Ovechkin. Tries to work through him and does. Great work by Giroux. Giroux to the shot, and a save made by Holtby. Not a lot of players getting through for that shot on goal.
Pursuit of the puck through the neutral zone, and Claude Giroux stayed with it all the way as he gets around Ovechkin there, keeps the legs turning, gets past Kuznetsov, and then quickly fires one through the 5-hole of Brooks Orpik, and Holtby comes up with the save.
Giroux, third in the league in shots on goal coming in. Ovechkin leads the league. Giroux has certainly shown that he will look to take the shot this year. He's been very active and on a very high pace. Schultz fires. That one comes out in front. Shot! And they score! R.J. Umberger ties it at 2. Holtby misplaying it off the backboard. And Umberger opportunistic. This game is deadlocked. Umberger scores for Queso Tasty Cake.
Offensive zone, face-off win. Couturier with the help of Matt Reed, and Schultz alertly fires it off the end boards. They're a lot livelier tonight than they were against the Ottawa Senators, and Umberger's there to pounce on it and bury it.
You got a break there big time. You're right, Jonesy. That Holtby went out with his stick, tried to carry him the puck and hold it. It bounced underneath it. RJ on the doorstep. Good goal, but good job on the face-off.
And in 14 seconds after the Capitals take the lead, the Flyers come back and tie it up. So we're tied again. Here's Ovechkin. Ovechkin picking up speed through center. Ovechkin the shot, and it was muted by Schultz, and just weakly went wide of that Beagle. To it in the corner. Backstrom tipped it free, but Luke Shen is there. Getting it to Schultz. A strong game from Nick Schultz. He has 2 assists in this game, and done a good job against Ovechkin.
Intelligent play, just get it around the blocker. No sense firing it into the shin pads. He makes the right choice. He gets a good lucky bounce.
Schultz and Reed with the helpers. Here's Strighted interception. Lecavalier to the circle. Belmar surges after the puck. Turns and fires, blocked. Trying to get it back now, Belmar, but the Capitals there, and it deflects up into the Washington bench. Another power back rehabilitation comeback goal.
Yep, face-off win. Matt Reed, a little chip of the puck to Schultz, and then there you see him fired past a few bodies, including Couturier. Umberger there to grab that one. Holtby pretty casual with his stick there, and is going to want that one back as he did not make contact, and Umberger picks up his 6th of the season.
So we're 5 minutes into this third period. The game tied again. Roy Brouwer has control. Niskanen, nice feed. Johansson moving up. Checked by Coburn. Elmar will tip. Flyers look to move up. Streit had to go off his stick, and that sails into the crowd.
Johansson trying to make a quick play on Coburn coming across the blue line. Not a good gap by the Flyers D. Coburn good enough right there on trying to take away the dipsy doodle by Johansson. R.J. Umberger, this line has been very good tonight, guys. Right before that, you saw Umberger on the bench. Couturier and Reed, they have had very, very good hockey game here tonight. Working well together.
Couturier and Umberger each with goals. Reed with 2 assists. Good night has actually paid off on the score sheet. As well as the job they've done defensively. Here's Delzato winding it into the zone. Simmons deflected it, bounced right into the slot. Now Lawton. Raffle back to Lawton. Had to get away from Alzner, but he overskated. Goes back after it. And it's Alzner who stays with him. And gets the puck to Chimera. Jason Chimera moving up the left wing. All the way across. Fair shot blocked off by Delzato. Now Niskanen to Chimera. Centered it. Ward got 2 cracks at it, and Mason said no both times. Simmons now starts back. Wayne Simmons to the Washington line. There he's on. Niskanen gets a hold of him. Simmons powers through that. Got it back to the point. It comes across to Schultz. He'll wind and fire. That one takes off and finds glass. Skips all the way around to Strite, who gets it to Simmons for a shot that Holtby was able to spot and make the save. And now Beagle turned back by Schultz. Alsner across. Pass. Backstrom. And now Niskanen making it. The Flyers get a stick on it, but now it's Backstrom moving in. Hit across the line. Backstrom waits. Looks behind the play and finds Green. Green all the way around. He'll take it to the corner, back out the other side. Flyers had the angles covered and just float one. It went off the base as he's leaning backwards. He tipped it. Now Ovechkin sent it for Backstrom. Go off his stick to Green. Green just tipping it into corner Beagle. With Backstrom worked down by Schultz. Backstrom dropping it for Ovechkin. Reed tried to stay with him, and he did. To jab it out to the neutral zone.
Big play by Matt Reed there. Flyers with some tired legs on the back end. Reed's play that allows them to jump off.
Voracek off the bench to the puck. Hidden into the boards by Schmidt. And Backstrom is there for Washington. Now the Capitals changing. Schmidt starts up. Just threw it into the neutral zone. Luke Schenn covered it, but then turned it over to Johansson, who will just send one off the stick toward the Philadelphia net. Giroux is there to Coburn. 8 minutes in, third period, tied at 2. Voracek gathering the puck. His pass is cut off by Brouwer. Brouwer checked by Luke Schenn, and Ingles shot like his net's off. Off by Mason. And now it's Johansson. Into the slot area for Brouwer. He was tightly marked. Voracek works it out to center. Brayden Schenn picks it up. Back to Voracek. Voracek holds on. Waits and fires! That one went off the stick or post and stayed out of the net. Now back the other way. Johansson with speed. He has plenty of it. Drops it back. Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov trying to center. Good coverage by the Flyers. Giroux quickly ahead to LeCavalier. LeCavalier waiting, slowing down as he got to center. Fires it across ice for Delzato. Delzato holding off Orpik. The centering pass for LeCavalier. Got his glove on it. Now it's Delzato to the corner. Kuznetsov. Vandervelde knocks it away. Belmar there, but he hit Vandervelde with his pass, and it bounces back out to center ice. Brooks Laich charging up. Like it across the Philadelphia line. And it's Delzato getting back to knock the puck into the corner, and now the battle. Vandervelde, Laich, Fair, Delzato. Coburn. Braden Coburn emerges with the puck. Ahead. Just sifting it through as LeCavalier. Belmar forcing Niskanen to Alsner. And now moving it up, Ovechkin. Gets the legs moving. Holds on, waits, cross ice. Simmons knocks it down. And the Flyers start back. Here's Raffl. Raffl to the Washington line. Schmidt riding him into the boards. Simmons is there to follow it up. Wraps it around the boards all the way out to Strite. Right back down low for Simmons. Never gets there. Cut off by Green, who finds Wilson, who clears the zone. Now Strite right back in. Good pace here, third period. We approach the midpoint of this third stanza. Tied at 2. Ott to get his bearings as the Caps move up. Backstrom gets it into the Philadelphia zone. Mason will let it go. Played by Schultz to Lott. Cross ice. Voracek roaring up the right wing. Jake Voracek it across the line. He waits. Looks for Schultz. It's tipped away. And Voracek trying to steal the puck, but the Caps are up to that, and Carlson will move it ahead to Ovechkin. Ovechkin into the middle. Carlson takes it to the boards and then back to the middle for Orpik. Orpik off for Backstrom. Winds and fires. And the save by Mason at the side of the net. Ovechkin trying to keep it alive side of the net. And again, good work by Nick Schultz. Boy, he's playing a heck of a game. It's Giroux leaving it for Schenn, then taking it himself, and the play ends up offside. Good one here in South Philly. Tied at 2.
Welcome back to South Philadelphia. Time to have a look at our Hyundai save of the game. It's going to be that man, Braden Holtby, right there, stealing this moment. This is a really good piece of goaltending right there. Nicholas Backstrom helping out. Coming back in there, swatting it out. Holtby endures. RJ Umberger coming, falls on top of him a little bit. Watson, both guys with a joint effort right there on the Hyundai save of the game.
So Backstrom, we believe, has a goal in this game, and he's also saved a goal. Although Alsner, at this point, has been given official credit for that goal.
Well, they had long enough to look at it, so I hope they have that one right.
The Capitals get the puck in. Orpik hit on Umberger behind the play. And the scramble for the puck, side of the net. Shen kept it back behind, and now the Flyers have it. The outlet from Couturier. Up on the stick of Alsner. Now moved ahead by Niskanen to Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov, a shot! Glove save, Mason. No further play.
Nice stop there from Steve Mason. The Flyers take on the Boston Bruins this Saturday at 1 o'clock. Then we'll face off against the Tampa Bay Lightning this Monday. That's a 7 o'clock start. Reserve your tickets now with the Flyers free mobile app or by visiting PhiladelphiaFlyers.com.
Quickly, the answer to our Jeep trivia question. Alexander Ovechkin is chasing Peter Bondra. Peter Bondra has 472 goals. Alexander Ovechkin 443, so he'll get there sometime, most likely early next season.
Yes.
He stays healthy.
Peter Bondra could snipe.
There's a shot by Alsner. Gets caught up in traffic, now bounces to Beagle. He tried to bank that one in, but Mason was up to that and just held it into his equipment.
That puck was lying there between the pads of Steve Mason. Bellemare was quick to try to help his goaltender out. There's the shot from the point, and the release there in front. You'll see it roll around a little bit and kind of pop down below, and there's Bellemare to make sure that he keeps it out. I think this angle will show it.
That's actually a good play right there by Mason, because those pucks sometimes go off you. You can fall behind you in the back of the net. Bellemare ensuring that did not happen, or was not the case.
The draw, toward Mason again, drops it off. Bellemare knocked down. Caps, though, trying to play it back to the point instead, out to the neutral zone as Green was there. Now they'll wind it in. Bellemare checked by Ward, but able to push through. Bill Ward, he got it to Vandevelde, who will dump it diagonally into the Washington zone. Schmidt for Green. Green pivots away from LeCavalier. Now the pass on front. Green gets to that as Schmidt was run at. Flyers again finishing checks. Ward will turn with it. Been a heavy hitting game. Both teams very active. Craig Ruby expected that from the Capitals, and the Flyers have certainly matched the physical intensity.
He'll be pleased with the compete of the Flyers in this game against the big Washington Capitals team.
Backstrom with the steal here, moves up. Backstrom, the shot that goes high off the glass. And now a penalty upcoming. Delayed call against Philadelphia.
It's going to be too many men on the ice. Luke Schenn had jumped off the Flyers bench, quickly realized when he got about halfway across that there was already 5 guys out there.
So the Capitals with some bonus time here with the goaltender pulled and the delayed call. 6 skaters on 5 as they move up. Burakovsky and across the line. His pass tipped by Couturier. Couturier thought that was an intentional play. The puck wanted the whistle, didn't get it. Karlsson will go across to Orpik. Now back across, and he's got Johansson with speed in across the line. Settles and drops it back. Burakovsky for a shot blocked. And it bounces back toward the empty net. It's going to go wide of it. Back is Burakovsky.
Wouldn't that have been an interesting situation?
Very interesting. It's not possession and control, but
somebody would have had some questions for that.
Now the Flyers just trying to get the puck here and can't. Now they will. Watt plays the puck and there's your whistle. So Washington power play when we return. 6:39 remaining in the third. Thank you very much, Amy. Luke Schenn on the bench. It's Jake Voracek who will serve this penalty, but it's too many men.
Yeah, Braden Coburn looked like he was coming towards the bench. Luke Schenn jumped on. The Flyers turned the puck over the neutral zone before Schenn could realize that Coburn did not exit the playing surface.
That's on the defenseman. It's on the ice. It's going for the change. When you've committed, that guy's always got to give himself 10 feet. You've got to either come or you don't do anything. With turnover or not, you got to trust your forwards. Luke Schenn, I don't blame him for that one at all.
Well, huge kill here for the Flyers. Move toward the later stages of this third period. Tie hockey game. They send it all the way down. Matt Reed doing the honors. Very dangerous power play for the Capitals. Already tallied once in this game. This is their third opportunity. Green swerves to the Philadelphia line. Over knocked it down. Schultz turns with it and did clear. Backstrom and out to center. So already a half minute into the man advantage as Green sizes things up. Knocked it back to Backstrom, and now the right wing feet too far for Johansson, but no icing. Schultz checked. Still looking for that puck just enough the wall, but Ovechkin is there. Now the Capitals will get set up. Johansson down low. Backstrom. Back out to the point. Green across Ovechkin. Ovechkin the shot. He missed the target, and that'll go all the way out to center on its own. The perils of a heady shot that doesn't find the target.
Yeah, didn't one time that one. He settled it and fired that quick wrist shot, which can be as deadly as his slap shot.
Capitals get jumbled up at the line, and the Flyers have a chance to clear. Couturier moving it ahead to Reed. Reed and across the line. Couturier joining. Reed tried a shot and it's blocked. Now back the other way. Brouwer hitting Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov looking to the middle. Zotto arrives in ill humor. The puck comes out in front. The Flyers are there, and Couturier will send it all the way down with a half minute remaining on the power play. Holtby tried to take advantage of the Flyers as they change players. Gets it ahead to Ward. Schultz there to meet him. Umberger. A couple of Capitals to deal with. Coburn trying to give him some help. Ward getting that back to Carlson. Carlson, cross ice. Ovechkin didn't get all that. It goes into the slot. Coburn there. Clears it all the way down, and that'll do it for the Washington power play. They'll get the puck to the Philadelphia line as Voracek leaves the box. Now looks for the pass. Tips it to Schenn. Schenn in across the line. Schenn hitting the late man. Giroux for the shot. And it went high right. Schenn looking for the carom, but he was checked, and the puck hopped over his stick. It's fair the other way. Very fair to cross the Philadelphia line. Turning back. Takes run taken at him, I should say, by Giroux. Stick ends up on the ice. Fair gets it. Off the side of the net with that offering from the corner, and then it caught the safety netting. 4:15 remaining in the third. Tonight's Flyers Capitals game is brought to you by Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far. By Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. And by Bud Light, the perfect beer for whatever happens.
Let's have a look at our Toyota turning point of this hockey game, and it's going to be R.J. Umberger's goal here, which is the second Flyer goal, and Washington up 2-1. R.J. gets a misplayed puck by Braden Holtby under the stick, right on the doorstep, opportunistic, and that is a Toyota turning point to this point. Still 2-2 here, guys, 4:15 to go.
200 regular season meeting between these teams. And the last 16-10 have been one-goal games. 8 have needed overtime. Are we headed in that direction again? We shall see. Here's Giroux ahead to Simmons. Simmons to Lawton. And that ends up offside at the Washington line.
Capitals do a good job of holding that defensive blue line, something that Orpik specializes in. He heads off the ice. Jay Beagle out there, another solid two-way forward for the Washington Capitals, and Orpik heads to the bench. Halsner and Niskanen come out.
Lawton and Fair on the draw, and Fair won it. Back to Niskanen. Head through center. Light turning it back to Halsner. And he got that one too high. It goes out of play.
Off the stick of Wayne Simmons. It was
Where
tipped
was
in the
Simmons?
neutral zone.
Yeah, he was in the neutral zone, so the faceoff stays out at center ice as we look at the Mazda top shelf performers.
And Nick Schultz has to be on there for the Flyers. He's got a couple assists in this game. Alex Ovechkin, 5-game goal scoring streak continues. Holtby, 24 saves on 26 shots. R.J. Umberger gets his 6th goal of the season.
He's on there, you just can't see it. Invisible ink.
Love it.
It's great when we're in sync with the truck.
Yep.
And here's Strike sending it in. You would think we'd picked him as our standout star. You're pushing it so hard, right?
Hey, we'll find out.
Here's Niskanen. Up the wall, Beagle is leaned down by Strike. And now Simmons knocks it down the shot, and it went just wide. Ref's off of Holtby. Now Coburn behind the net. Makes his way to LeCavalier, but he is checked. Kept in by Strike. The puck through to Lawton. Makes the shift. Looks to the net. And now turns back with it. Lawton will twist it to Simmons in the corner. And Hit the referee. Now on a quick shot. Hit a stick in front. Simmons tried to drag it into the sliotar. He could not. Flyers get it back. Cavalier, but he is unable to do much with that. And the Caps have it back. Some promise there for the Flyers.
Some good hard work down low in the offensive zone, and then some great hustle by Simmons leading the way to the bench. Quick change there. And now we've got more whistles, and there's some addition going on towards the Capitals bench, which tells me there's too many men on the ice.
That's what I'm thinking right now, too.
When they start counting with the fingers and the coach puts his hands up in the air in disbelief.
Yeah.
Time they had the 5 and the 1 up, Jonesy. That counts 6 as far as I can remember.
Very good, Chris.
Yes.
Tony
That's
Sarcolo.
exactly what it is.
The linesman, yep.
Barry Trout's losing his marbles over here. Talking to his assistant.
2 down low here. 3 on the ice right now, and 4 and 5 jump on. So there you go.
Yeah, actually had more guys going on than 6 at one point.
There's 6 right now. You can see all the way down. So right call is made, and the Flyers have a chance to get one.
Huge opportunity for the Flyers. John Wismer hoping they can score as they try to take the lead late here in the third. Strike to Giroux. Giroux waits, fires, save. Holtby rebound. Simmons save, another rebound, and it stays out. Voracek will get to it in the corner. Back out Strike. Strike deals to Giroux. Now Giroux sizing it up, back out, Strike. Back to Giroux, across Voracek. One-timer's a knuckleball. It's knocked down in front. In fact, Voracek broke his stick on that shot, and Light will clear it all the way down.
Broke his stick in half, but it was still a dangerous play. Holtby managed to watch it all the way in, and the rebound laid there in the place where Simmons couldn't grab it.
Shot pass back to Giroux. Navigates his way in and then around behind, but Alsner was ready for that. But instead of clearing it down the ice, he cleared it out of play. Faceoff will go back deep into the Washington zone.
Touched it off the glass before it exited the Capital zone. Flyers with a couple of quick shots. Giroux fired it through bodies there. Schenn and Simmons with a couple of cracks at it. Holtby able to hold it.
Flyers with a timeout here. The guy's going to try to get this group of the first power play unit some air here for a few seconds. What a save by Holtby right before that, though, at the start of the Flyer power play. Another thing, too, to keep an eye on if the Flyers do not score. Ovechkin's in the box, so they're going to have to keep an eye on him coming out.
Serving the too many men on the ice penalty.
Go ahead, Jonesy.
Take a look at our Bud Light player of the game, Nick Schultz. Couldn't make Oz the top shelf, but he's our Bud Light player of the game. Some outstanding work defensively, going one-on-one with Alexander Ovechkin here, knocking him to the ice. And picking up a couple of assists right here in Couturier's opener and Umberger's tire. Some terrific work from number 55. And Orange, this Schultz knows everything.
Those are big minutes played by 55 tonight. Tough minutes.
So the Flyers off the timeout, get to the puck. Strike, dealing it down low for Simmons, around for Giroux. Giroux settles and gets to Simmons. Simmons in front, hoping for Schenn. It was deflected away. Schenn able to nudge it back to Giroux. To the point, Strike with a shot. Locked in front, Backstrom a chance to clear, and he does. 50 seconds remaining in the power play, 1:44 in the third period. Strike. Ahead, Schenn. In the middle, Voracek off of the right wing for Simmons. Now behind the Washington net, now it's Braden Schenn. Down by Carlson. Simmons will twirl it up the wall for Voracek. Take Voracek, gets the legs moving along the boards. Now it's Simmons for Giroux. In the middle, shot, Schenn, save, Holtby. Set up perfectly, Schenn got a lot on it. The Washington goaltender with an answer.
Beautiful no-look pass from Claude Giroux. Simmons and Giroux go to work, and then watch a little slide pass there around the Capital defender's sticks and right on the tape for Schenn.
So subtle by Giroux. So, you know, it's funny. He gets the puck. I can see where he was from the angle. He has a quick look at Schenn, but then he puts his eyes back up towards the blue line, and then Schenn jumped in that hole. That's just a great pass by a great player in Giroux.
22 seconds remaining on the power play. Plenty of time to set up another play should they win the draw, and they do. Second unit out is Umberger. They go on for Reed. Back out to Nick Schultz. Cross ice shot. Coburn goes wide out the other side. Reed couldn't get there. It's cleared all the way down by Niskanen. That will just about do it for the Philadelphia power play. We head to the final minute of regulation time. Ovechkin poised to leave the box. Flyers are on. No, offside. A late call, but it was eventually made. An offside whistle. They usually get those offside calls right, even when we don't think they do.
They are sharp with them. And Umberger had a redirection attempt in front there after Schultz and Coburn went to work on the blue line. The quick shot touching the stick of Umberger, but going wide past Braden Holtby and off the end boards.
This face-off just outside the Washington zone. Couturier will go against Backstrom. Ovechkin out on the ice. The Flyers win the draw. Reed got it in, but it's sent right back out. Schultz knocks it down with his glove. Played it. No man pass call. Ward lines it in. Mason could not corral it. Coburn has it. Coburn up the wall. Reed is checked from behind with the puck out to center ice. Niskanen across for Alsner. In the middle, it goes off of Ward to the Philadelphia bench.
Nick Schultz got away with one there at the red line. Grabbed it and held it right there. He caught it, kept it in his glove, and then tossed it down to the ice. And the red linesman there gave him a break. So Flyers a benefactor on that play from Nick Schultz. You can see the Capitals looking for the penalty.
Nick might have been trying to make it look like it was stuck in his glove, but either way,
well done.
Either way, they're going to call that most times. They do not. As you said, a break. Here is Schultz with the puck now ahead. For Giroux, he was unable to get there as he was checked, and now Brooks Orpik. Orpik up the board. Schenn anticipates. Giroux slots it back behind the net. 12 seconds in the period. Carlson tries the other side of the ice, and Leik will get it out to center. Coburn to Schultz, and he drifts back as the final seconds of the third period tick off the clock. Coburn will get to forecheck, and that's it. We head to overtime. 9th time in the last 17 games between the Flyers and Capitals that they have needed extra time. The overtime period ahead, 2-2 after 60 minutes. Flyers and Capitals. 2-2, Flyers and Capitals as we head to the 5-minute overtime, 4-on-4. Each team has a point. One more up for grabs. Let's see how he got here.
Ovechkin on the power play. A blast there over the glove hand of Mason, and it was 1-0 for Washington. And then the Flyers came right back with Nick Schultz, Matt Reed team up with Sean Couturier. He tied the score at 1 apiece. Third period, Capitals again get the lead. Carl Alsner being credited with this goal. Looked like Backstrom might have tipped that one, and then Nick Schultz involved with another assist here on R.J. Umberger's comeback goal that tied it at 2-2.
In the 5-minute overtime, as you look at the box score of this one, the Capitals have won 3 times and lost 4 times with goals scored in the overtime. Flyers are 3-2. It's an obvious point, but watch this guy because with the open ice in 4-on-4, he's especially dangerous. 15 career overtime game-winning goals in the regular season, which is 3rd all time. So he is clearly very dangerous.
Coburn and Nick Schultz out there because of that. And the Flyers go with 2 forwards up front, especially when Ovechkin's on the ice.
Underway, Orpik. Taking a look and getting the puck to Backstrom. Backstrom will move it up, and in ahead of him was Ovechkin offside. Rare time where those two were not in sync.
Flyers looking for history to repeat itself. Tuesday night down by 1 in the 3rd period before Wayne Simmons tied things up, sending it to the shootout where Simmons ended it. Umberger tonight ends up with the tying goal after they went down by 1 in the 3rd. It was Umberger who pounced on that opportunity and sent this one to overtime.
And they will try to get the extra point again. Here is Orpik for Carlson, and now Backstrom moving up with Ovechkin. The pass is to number 8. He holds on, and then Niskanen, who takes the shot, save Mason. Able to gather the puck, and he'll take the face-off in his own zone.
Mason very calm in there. The traffic in front. Niskanen looking for a redirection or a rebound, and Mason let that puck just settle in nicely. Handled it. No rebound opportunity, and looking around the guy in front. Schultz does a nice job of pushing that traffic to the side, allowing Mason to see it all the way in.
Well, Mason will watch the face-off to his right. Giroux and Fair, and we won the draw, but a whistle. And they'll have to do it again. Claude Giroux continues to lead the NHL in face-off wins. And he adds another one to his total. Right, though, quickly checked by Fair. And the Capitals get the puck back. Here's Niskanen. Niskanen worked on by Giroux. All the way to the corner. Behind the net, and Streit has the puck. Good work by Giroux defensively. Streit ahead. Voracek. Ring wide feed. Penalty upcoming against Washington. Here's Delzato. Delayed call. Delzato's pass to Giroux. Giroux back across Delzato. Extra power play time for the Flyers here. Delzato to Voracek. Voracek moving in along the boards, then back out. Here's Streit. Across ice. Giroux waits. Side of the net. Simmons shot. Save. Holtby. And there's the puck played to get the whistle. But now the Flyers will go to the power play. And of course it'll be a 4-on-3.
Great chance there. Wayne Simmons with that wraparound attempt. Giroux on Niskanen originally here at the start of this overtime. Good physical contact with number 2 in white. And then Giroux recognizing there's a defenseman caught, trying to push the pace, and there's Niskanen with a little hook around Claude Giroux. Giroux does a nice job in drawing the attention of the official, and Niskanen sits.
So it's all there for the Flyers. Barry Trotz hoping his penalty killers can come through, but the Flyers 4-on-3. It's Giroux, Simmons, Voracek, and Streit. The quartet out there to try to win the hockey game. Streit holding on and giving to Giroux. Simmons in front. Giroux directing traffic with his head. Now gets it to Voracek with the shot. They score! Jake Voracek fires. It may have changed direction. And the Flyers win the hockey game 3-2. Tuesday night it was a shootout. Tonight it's overtime. And the Flyers are winners again as Voracek scores for a case of Tasty Cake. And the Flyers with a dramatic victory.
Giroux draws the penalty. Voracek gets the goal. I believe it goes off the stick of John Carlson, the Capitals defenseman. Right there, Backstrom actually involved again. It's Backstrom's stick that it goes off based upon that reaction. And there's the stick of 19. And White tips it. Holtby can't handle it. And Voracek celebrates an OT winner. Look at the flex on that shot. Backstrom's stick involved in a goal earlier that went the Capitals' way. This time it deflects in off his stick past his own goaltender, and Voracek ends up with the overtime winner.
NHL's scoring leader with a huge one, and we go downstairs now to Chris Therien with Nick Schultz.
Nick, another dramatic win tonight for the Flyers, kind of in the same style as you did against Ottawa the other night. You had the job tonight of going and competing against Ovechkin all night. Tell me your mindset coming into this game.
No, he knows he's a dangerous player, dangerous shot, and it takes 5 guys to check a guy with his ability and the way he can shoot the puck. You saw in his first, in the power play goal. So I thought we did a good job. 5 guys out there staying close to him, making sure he didn't get a lot of quality chances.
Can 2 big wins like this, against teams that have been playing pretty well in Ottawa and Washington, elevate the confidence of a group as a whole?
Yeah, I think so. We got a string of home games here. We really got to take advantage of. We obviously didn't have a great stretch after the Christmas break here on the road, so we got to get back to playing the way we can. I think we did that tonight for the majority of the game, and we just got to build on it. It's a big stretch here heading into the second half of the season.
Pair of assists for you tonight. Is that you showing off some of the offensive style you've had in the past?
I don't know if I ever had 2 assists in a game, so I'll take it. But it's nice to get a win and the 2 points, and like you said, hopefully we can build on it.
You gotta like coming back 2 games in a row with being down a goal in both games. That has to really feel good as a group, especially for your goaltender.
Yeah, exactly. I think we played well early on. Probably didn't, had some opportunities to score some goals. I think we're competing better as a team, as 5 guys together, and it's coming together. Our team game's coming together, and we need that. We need to build on that and make sure we're improving heading into the second half.
Nick, great game tonight. Thanks very much for joining me.
For sure. Thank you.
Outstanding performance from Nick Schultz, and the Flyers power play comes up big once again. It's been outstanding at home, and in overtime the stick of Nick Backstrom comes in handy on Voracek's goal there. Flyers win it, and a celebration to follow.
Voracek, another overtime game winner. Had one, remember, in Winnipeg. So the Flyers have hit the midpoint of the regular season. They begin their second half on Saturday. The Boston Bruins in town. Second meeting of the season between these teams. Our coverage is at 1 o'clock the Bruins and the Flyers from the Wells Fargo Center. Here tonight, Alexander Ovechkin and the Capitals in town. Good hockey game, and the Flyers again persevere to come away with 2 points. Thanks again to our technical crew tonight. Producer for Flyers Hockey is Brian Cooper. The associate producer is Carl Graver. And our director, Mike Mulligan. For Keith Jones and Chris Terry, and I'm Jim Jackson. Once again, the final score in overtime. The Philadelphia Flyers 3 and the Washington Capitals 2. Stay tuned for Flyers post-game live presented by Cure Auto Insurance.